David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, the luxury cruise ship at the center of the deadly hantavirus outbreak set to land at the Canary Islands, and the breaking news on a possible boat explosion near Miami Beach. First, that Dutch cruise ship transporting 140 passengers and crew members, including 17 Americans, none displaying symptoms of hantavirus, but authorities taking extraordinary precautions. Passengers will be dressed in hazmat suits before heading to the airport under military guard. The American passengers going to the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. 3 people have died, and now authorities monitoring at least 9 other Americans in 6 states. Our Maggie Rulli reporting from the Canary Islands. Also developing tonight, at least 15 people injured after a possible boat explosion. Dozens of emergency crews responding, several people hospitalized. The new details just coming in. Chaos at Dymburt International Airport. A Frontier Airlines plane hit and killed a pedestrian on the runway. The incident triggering an engine fire and forcing passengers to evacuate. The dramatic audio from inside the plane. The clock is ticking for a deal to end the war with Iran. Today, President Trump saying he expects a response from the country very soon. And the suspected oil spill near Iran's main oil hub, why it's raising new concerns. The refinery explosion rocking a neighborhood in New Orleans. Plumes of black smoke visible for miles. What this could mean for the oil supply and for consumers. The chilling images of a devastating collision. An Arizona teen hit by a sheriff's boat while jet skiing, now suing the deputy who was driving. Alarming images of falling concrete from a tunnel ceiling inside a major New York expressway. A daring and dramatic rescue. The NYPD saving a distraught woman dangling from the edge of a Brooklyn high-rise 30 stories above the sidewalk. And the centennial celebration for Sir David Attenborough, 100 years young.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. We begin with the passengers aboard the luxury cruise ship at the center of a deadly hantavirus outbreak about to arrive at the Canary Islands. Authorities say there are no plans to quarantine the 17 Americans returning to the U.S., but they will be met by officials with the CDC and then taken to the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. Authorities are now monitoring at least 9 other Americans in 6 states. So far, none showing signs of illness. These planes will transport all of the passengers to their destinations after that ship arrives in the overnight hours. The extraordinary preparations underway after 3 people died in the outbreak. Officials now trying to calm fears, saying this is not a global pandemic. ABC's Maggie Rulli leads us off from the Canary Islands.
Tonight, CDC officials tracking that hantavirus outbreak on a luxury cruise ship say there is no mandatory quarantine for the 17 Americans on board returning to the U.S.
No mandatory quarantine is the right path to go. With the data we have, it's only symptomatic people that are passing on hantavirus. And so if people are asymptomatic, they are not at risk based on what we know today.
Authorities are currently investigating 8 cases related to the hantavirus outbreak and its origins. 3 people have died, all passengers of the MV Hondius. Local authorities in the U.S. are tracking 9 people in 6 states that have potentially been exposed. None have symptoms. The MV Hondius has been traveling to the Canary Islands in Spain since it left Cape Verde on Wednesday. It's expected to arrive in Tenerife early Sunday morning.
This right here is where we expect the ship to be anchored offshore, arriving in the early hours tomorrow morning. And we've been here at the port watching as police and authorities rush to prepare for those passengers. You can see multiple police set up right now. That is where the passengers will finally disembark that cruise ship.
In Spain, locals are conflicted. The ship's arrival bringing back memories of the COVID-19 pandemic. Samantha Aguero, a 12-year resident, saying that while they don't feel entirely safe, they also need to have empathy for those on board. On board the Hondius, Dr. Steve Kornfeld, an American from Oregon, stepping in after the doctor on board got sick while treating hantavirus patients.
Then it just kind of escalated.
Telling us on the phone that right now, no one on board has any symptoms.
There's been a lot of recriminations and finger pointing. And I've lived all this, and I am a physician, so I have a kind of a high sense of suspicion. about things. Even in retrospect, I don't think any clues were missed. I have nothing but accolades for this boat and everybody on it.
The WHO says those repatriation flights could start taking people home throughout Sunday and Monday, pushing back on concerns, saying this is not another COVID and that the risk to public health remains low.
I know Tenerife is ready, prepared, and I know Spain is ready and prepared.
Maggie Rulli joining us now from the Canary Islands. So, Maggie, what is expected to happen once that ship arrives?
Yeah, once that ship is anchored offshore, they plan to start evacuations as soon as possible. The Spanish government wants to get those passengers off of the Canary Islands and onwards towards their home countries. Now, for the Americans, that means they'll be met and escorted by the CDC, taken back to the States, and sent straight to the National Quarantine Unit in Omaha, Nebraska.
All right, Maggie, we appreciate your reporting. Now to breaking news, a possible boat explosion near Miami Beach. At least 15 people injured and 11 treated at area hospitals. This happening at a popular boating and entertainment area. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, several units responding to a possible boat explosion near a popular South Florida sandbar near Miami Beach, packed with weekend visitors.
Evidence of a possible boat explosion, multiple people in the water.
The incident so severe, officials upgrading this to a level 2 mass casualty incident.
Not a great way to start the summer, that's for sure.
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue rushing more than 24 units to the Hallover Sandbar in Biscayne Bay just before 1 p.m.
Injuries were from burn injuries to some traumatic injuries as well.
This captain was nearby and says he saw the explosion.
It was about 10 or 12 people that got stretched out of there, second, third, and I've seen some possible 4-degree burns.
Rescuers pulling people into lifeboats and rushing them to nearby fuel docks. Officials say 11 people were taken to local hospitals, some even airlifted. The Hallover Sandbar is one of the most popular hotspots for boaters and tourists, often packed as the busy summer boating season gets underway.
And tonight, authorities are investigating what exactly sparked that blast.
Okay, Morgan Norwood for us. Now to the deadly emergency at Denver's International Airport. A Frontier Airlines jet preparing for takeoff struck and killed a pedestrian, triggering an engine fire and evacuation. Here's ABC's Andrew Dymburt.
Tonight, tragedy on the tarmac.
Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody.
A Frontier Airlines plane full of passengers speeding down the runway, hitting and killing a pedestrian during takeoff at Denver International Airport.
There was an individual walking across the runway.
We've got smoke in the aircraft. We're going to evacuate on the runway.
Just before midnight Friday, authorities say the victim scaled an airport fence, managed to make it onto the runway, and 2 minutes later was sucked into the plane's engine just as it was almost wheels up for its flight to Los Angeles. The pilots immediately aborting takeoff.
We have an engine fire.
Smoke filling the cabin, the plane's engine bursting into flames. The crew deploying emergency slides, evacuating all 231 people on board. And tonight, panicked passengers on that flight detailing the scramble inside the cabin after impact.
People that could see the engines could see large flames, and it was really scary. So people were yelling, "Fire, fire," and smoke was in the air.
This is just the latest terrifying incident near a busy runway. On Sunday, dash camera showing the moment the wheel of a United Airlines plane slammed into a truck while landing at Newark International Airport. As for this Frontier incident, 5 people were taken to a nearby hospital, a dozen reporting minor injuries. The FAA and Denver police are now investigating.
Andrew Dymburt for us. Thank you. Overseas now to the war in Iran. President Trump saying tonight that he expects a response very soon to the administration's latest peace proposal. And new images tonight of a suspected oil spill near Iran's main oil hub, why it's raising new concerns. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge in Tel Aviv.
Tonight, new images of what appears to be an oil slick stretching for miles in the Sea of Harg Island, home to Iran's main oil terminal through which 90% of its oil exports normally pass. The source of the oil is unclear, but it's believed to be several thousand barrels. Iran denying reports of a spill, a spokesman telling state-run media the sheen is the result of a discharge from a tanker. This as the US still waits for Iran's response to a proposed interim agreement. Tonight, President Trump, who attended a golf tournament today, telling a French reporter he expects to hear from Iran, quote, very soon. The president reportedly telling French TV the Iranians still very much want to conclude a deal. The ceasefire hanging in the balance as the two trade attacks in the Strait. Just this week, the US military striking and disabling 3 Iranian-linked oil tankers, reinforcing the blockade on Iranian ports, which has halted Iran's exports and put pressure on the country's ability to store oil. If a deal is made, the US would gradually ease its military blockade in exchange for Iran allowing safe passage for the 1,500 commercial vessels trapped in the waters west of the Strait of Hormuz. And on land, despite the ceasefire in Lebanon, Israel launching fresh strikes against Iranian proxy Hezbollah in the south. More than 2,700 killed there in this war. Israeli and Lebanese officials set to hold peace talks in Washington next week.
And we're Secretary of State Marco Rubio and White House envoy Steve Witkoff today meeting with Qatar's Prime Minister in Miami, according to Axios. The Qataris key mediators in those negotiations between Iran and the US.
All right, Tom, thanks for that. And tune in to This Week tomorrow morning. Martha Raddatz speaks with U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, about the latest state of negotiations to end the war with Iran. Now to the refinery explosion rocking a neighborhood in New Orleans. Plumes of black smoke visible for miles. Let's bring in ABC's Jacqueline Lee. And Jacqueline, this is the latest in a series of incidents.
That refinery fire happened earlier this week on Friday and is now under control. A backyard camera in Chalmette, Louisiana, capturing the moment of that explosion. The owner of this refinery is PBF Energy, and this is their largest refinery with a capacity of 185,000 barrels of oil a day. And yes, there have been other recent incidents. In Port Arthur, Texas, a fire taking Valero's facility offline in March, and in Washington State, an explosion at BP's Cherry Point facility left 3 people injured. It is the Pacific Northwest's largest supplier of jet fuel. Now, it's too early to tell how much of the refinery in Louisiana is impacted, but this coming at a time when crude oil and petroleum products are in short supply.
That's a major concern. Jacqueline Lee, our thanks to you tonight. Now to the battle to change the congressional maps. 2 major court decisions now giving the Republicans the upper hand. Chaos and protests across the states on the front lines, and tonight, what it could mean for the upcoming midterms and beyond. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, the fight to redraw the nation's congressional maps escalating as Virginia asks its own Supreme Court to pause the ruling that struck down a new map Democrats had counted on. That map, approved by Virginia voters just last month, would have created 4 new seats Democrats would likely have won. But the state Supreme Court ruled the legislature violated the state constitution by putting it on the ballot. Virginia Democrats now planning to take the fight to the U.S. Supreme Court. President Trump celebrating the ruling.
We had a big victory today in Virginia.
But House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries defiant.
We're going to win back the House of Representatives in November. We are only 3 seats short. We historically overperformed in November, and that's one of the reasons why Republicans are in panic mode.
This is the people's house.
It comes as the unprecedented race to redraw congressional lines plays out across the country before November, supercharged by a landmark Supreme Court ruling last week that gutted a key protection of the Voting Rights Act, making it harder to challenge maps that dilute black voting power. In Louisiana, Republicans delaying its House primary races to push through a new map creating at least 1 more Republican-leaning district. In South Carolina, the legislature introducing a map that would eliminate the seat held for decades by Democrat Jim Clyburn. And in Alabama, Republicans on Friday appealing to the U.S. Supreme Court to throw out a lower court ruling requiring a second majority black district.
And this could all heat up again after the midterms, with Democrats seeking to redraw maps in about a dozen states ahead of 2028,
Yes, a lot more to come on this one. Selena Wang for us. Thank you. Tonight, an 18-year-old Michigan man is under arrest accused of fatally shooting a 39-year-old mother of 8 and a 15-year-old boy following an argument at a soccer match. It happened Tuesday evening. First responders tried desperately to save the pair, but were too late. In addition to the murder, the suspect, Rafael Martinez Lopez, faces felony firearm charges. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. Major League Baseball mourning the loss of legendary Atlanta Braves coach Bobby Cox, who led the team to the World Series in 1995. And dramatic new video from Brooklyn where a woman was seen standing at the edge of a skyscraper. Next tonight, dash camera video catching the moment a huge chunk of concrete fell from the ceiling of a tunnel in New York City Thursday morning, narrowly missing passing drivers. That section of the road connects the George Washington Bridge with the Cross Bronx Expressway. The Port Authority, which operates the bridge, later conducted inspections on the ceiling panels. In Arizona, drone video showing a devastating collision, a boat operated by a deputy with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office slamming into a teen riding a jet ski. The crash happened last Memorial Day at Bartlett Lake. A lawsuit has now been filed against the deputy, claiming the teen's injuries are impacting his ability to work and compete in athletics. And heart-stopping moments on a Brooklyn skyscraper. Newly released body camera video showing NYPD officers rescuing a distraught woman perched on the edge of a building 30 stories above the street. Police say the 41-year-old woman made it halfway up the 58-story tower before stepping onto a sun deck. Officers were eventually able to talk her away from the ledge and bring her to safety. When we come back, a major milestone for legendary broadcaster and conservationist David Attenborough. To the index now, baseball is mourning the loss of Hall of Fame manager Bobby Cox, the fiery leader who guided the Atlanta Braves to a World Series title in 1995, died Saturday at the age of 84. Cox won more than 2,000 games during his career and led Atlanta to 14 straight division titles. Next tonight, our former Disney CEO Bob Iger receiving an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Howard University in Washington, D.C. Iger calling the accomplishment the honor of a lifetime.
When I tell people that I'm getting an honorary doctorate from Howard, they all have the same reaction, how fantastic that is. And it makes me feel great. I'm proud to accept this honor.
Iger also spoke about his friendship with actor Chadwick Boseman, who tragically passed away from colon cancer. Iger said Boseman didn't just attend this historically black college, he carried it with him. Both Iger and Disney share a deep connection to Howard, with millions committed to the Disney Storytellers Fund and to support the building of the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts Center. Our congratulations to Bob Iger. When we come back, we'll show you how famed broadcaster and conservationist David Attenborough celebrated his 100th birthday. Finally tonight, the major milestone and celebration for David Attenborough.
Isolated sea mounts like this one create oases where life can flourish.
For more than 70 years, Sir David Attenborough has connected us with the natural world.
These crabs seem to be afraid of the water.
That rich, iconic voice guiding us to every corner of the globe, revealing the wonders of nature on BBC programs like Life on Earth, Blue Planet, and more recently, the documentary Ocean with David Attenborough on Disney Plus and Hulu.
All life began in the deep blue sea. In this magical world, everything is more connected than we had ever imagined. After a lifetime of filming the natural world, I now understand the most important place on Earth is not on land. It's life at its most mesmerizing.
Yesterday, the beloved storyteller who spent his childhood collecting fossils, insects, and dried seahorses turned 100 years old.
We now have a better understanding of the natural world than ever. We know how best to protect it for future generations.
A grand birthday message displayed on a huge screen at Piccadilly Circus. Attenborough, in an audio recording, reacting to the outpouring of birthday greetings.
I had rather thought that I would celebrate my 100th birthday quietly, but it seems that many of you have had other ideas.
Last night, the BBC hosted a celebration for him at London's Royal Albert Hall. Prince William delivering the tribute.
Sir David, thank you for your wisdom, your kindness, your dedication, and for reminding us always of the wonder of the world we call home. A very happy 100th birthday.
100 years and counting. Happy birthday. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.